Another question that I'm often asked at seminars is, how do I set up my decoys? And that question is very simple, and that is in one big blob. What I typically do is just set all the decoys out in kind of a big circle, except for about 20% of my decoys. Now, that last 20% I want to have downwind of the main blob. So what I do is I put 10% on one arm and 10% on another arm and string them out downwind about a 75 to 100 yards, depending on how many decoys that I'm running that day. Now, if we have a wind condition change, and let's say right now the wind's blowing from my back, and we have the two arms going down here like this, and now all of a sudden the wind changes going this way, instead of having to change my whole decoy spread, and sometimes we hunt with a lot of decoys, upwards of 1,000, we don't want to be changing all the decoys. We only want to change a few. So if you set all your decoys kind of in a blob configuration with just a couple arms and you have a wind condition change, all you do is pick up those two arms and move them out this way. Take a look at the diagram on the screen and you'll notice that we got one big blob. The blinds are up in the top 1/2 to 1/3 of the decoys depending on the wind conditions. If it's super windy, I like to be on the about halfway down through the decoy spread. If it's not so windy, I like to be about 1/3 of the way from the top of the decoy spread, and you'll notice the two arms going down. So, some of you are probably inquiring about this rotary machine, and where are we going to place this rotary machine? It's not always an easy thing to figure out. Most of the time, if it's not too windy, I like to put the rotary machine right in front of me about 15 yards. If it's really windy and the geese are coming in real low, I'll stick it behind me 15 to 20 yards. But don't be afraid to move that rotary machine around, or be afraid to move your blinds around. If for some reason the geese are finishing off to one side and you're setting up over here, don't think you got to be always in that same spot. If that's where the birds are going to go, move your blinds over there, get underneath them and start shooting them. The birds finish in different locations every day, but by using that general decoy spread that I talked about, you can usually center them up in the middle. Not always, but most of the time. So start setting up your decoys this way, and I guarantee you'll be a more versatile hunter and you'll be able to start killing more snow geese.